2 rounds to go then in the Thundersport GB Championships for 2015, and we're here at Donington Park. This is probably the best view you can get of Donington, although not at the moment due to the weather, but this is the commentary box. This is where it's all going to happen and where I'm going to take you through all the races here this afternoon. Here you can see all the TV screens. We've got lots of racing coming up for you here today. Sit tight, championships still to be won. This is Thundersport Elite. Hello and welcome then to Donington Park. It was a misty morning, not anymore. Beautiful blue skies here for this time of the year as we bring you 6 action-packed races, and the first onto the grid, what you're looking at now. First race then for Thundersport Elite, and Johnny Towers, what a man, he's been on so much form recently. He starts from pole position here for the pre-national 600s. Darren Ibbotson, second in the championship at the moment, is chasing down that total of Harry Truelove, who, remember, is not on the grid. Third on the grid, the purple and white machine, Michael Tustin. This should be a very interesting race indeed, and also keep an eye out for number 6, Brendan Mallender. Here we go then on the grid, ready for the start of this race. There's number 157, Charlie Morris as well, the black bike, as Dave walks off to the right. Look at the lights in the top left. Matty in control of them. As soon as they go out, we will be ready to go. And that's a good start there from Darren Ibbotson, number 50 on the Kawasaki. Immediately gets past Johnny Towers. And as we head down towards Redgate for the first time, it will surely be Ibbotson with the whole shot, and it is. Good start also there for Morris, who I just mentioned as well, number 157. There's Liam Hellywell, number 59. And someone's got stuck in the mud already. That's Ash Stone, number 60, who's in the Stones, into turn 1, and luckily he's not come off and he's able to get out. Can get quite deep down there. George Pycroft for the time being has moved into second place on that yellow Triumph, number 67, but they're all hunting down Darren Ibbotson. A beautiful day here at Donington Park. We had another scorcher yesterday as well, very pleasant indeed, and immediately there you can see Pycroft trying to make up some ground and get past Ibbotson. 39 bikes on the grid at the start of this race. A very popular class, the pre-national 600s, a class for riders that are yet to attain a national licence. Darren Ibbotson it is, number 50 then, that leads this race, and of course is second overall in the championship. Harry Truelove, who leads, is no longer taking part in the series, and but he's left the tally that still means he's leading. So although Darren Ibbotson is favourite to win the championship on that basis, he's still got to go through the motions. He's still got to get those results. We're on the GP circuit here at Donington, as you can see. They come charging down into the Melbourne route there. And number 888, Joe Lawrence, almost had to go straight on there, and he might have taken 1 or 2 riders with him as they go around the Melbourne loop. Some people not a fan of this particular part of Donington Park, but for me, I think it adds a little bit more spice to this circuit, and of course it's brilliant for overtaking manoeuvres as they make their way onto the start-finish straight then to start another lap. Ibbotson it is that still leads from Pycroft. There's Johnny Towers, who's on pole, number 77, up ahead of Tustin, number 64, who was of course third on the grid. Michael Tustin fourth in the championship at the moment, and hunting down Brendan Mallender. Mallender is number 6, who's currently third in the championship. He's in about 5th place in this race. Ibbotson, Pycroft, Towers, Tustin. And in fact, there is number 70, it's Nick Manger, who's just gone past Brendan Mallender as they make their way around Schwantz Curve. There's no Starkey's Bridge here anymore at Donington Park, that was removed. The same as the Dunlop Bridge, of course, on the back straight as they now go around McLean's up towards the blind crest, the blind entry point at Coppice Corner. Get your line right into here and then onto the back straight. Now, as they go onto the back straight, important to get the power on as early as possible. Try and pull out of the slipstream, just like George Pycroft is doing here, and brake now into the Foggy S's. The Foggy S's, the only modified part of the circuit in the last 4 or 5 years, of course, when the circuit changed ownership and back again and toing and froing, and the talk about F1, the Foggy S's there did change somewhat. And it's worth about a second now, slightly quicker into there. Darren Ibbotson very wide on exit at the Melbourne Loop, but manages to cut back and get on the power nice and early, but as they come out of the other side and out of Goddard's, it's now Johnny Towers and George Pycroft that have got through, so Ibbotson really has lost out there. Johnny Towers back to the front then, ahead of George Pycroft. There's Darren Ibbotson, number 50, on the Phoenix Racing Kawasaki, who's now dropped back to third. As I mentioned before, this point situation is a bit of a tricky one to work out, as we're just getting a glimpse of Stevie Elliott, one of our Royal Marine riders. He has to stay on board because obviously he needs as many points as possible to chase down Harry Truelove's total, but he can't just cruise around and take whatever points were on offer to him, because he's also got Brendan Mallender up behind him, who could mathematically still win this one as well. As for Johnny Towers, number 77, well, had he have started the season in this championship, he could well be fighting for this himself, as Ibbotson there goes around the outside of Pycroft and moves up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's Michael Tustin, who goes straight on, somehow manages to stay up despite his front wheel hitting the back wheel of Darren Ibbotson. I've not actually seen anybody be able to hold on to a bike under those circumstances before. Darren Ibbotson, you could argue, a bit lucky there to stay on board. Tustin just too hot going into Coppice Corner. I can see that he has rejoined, but he's way down the field. 39 bikes out there, as I just mentioned. Now then, Towers has a bit of breathing space out front as he makes his way around the Melbourne Loop. There's Darren Ibbotson, well wide, really wide in fact, and touching there with Nick Manger on the exit. George Pycroft's in there as well. There's Ash Stone, who went down earlier. There is Michael Tustin, who just went straight on at Coppice, and there's a massive high side, and barrel rolling away there is number 21, Richard Dudley, the rookie. That bike's in an awkward place here as he trundles away. There's Towers then, the race leader. There's Nick Manger in second place, up ahead. Oh, not anymore, he goes in too hot there, and the bike is flying, and so is he. Look at that, it's like Superman down onto the grass there in Craner Curves. Nick Manger absolutely furious with himself. He's put in some scrapes in the last couple of corners, hasn't he? But he goes down out of second place. Well, they're all hunting, aren't they, for Darren Ibbotson? How he's managed to stay on board here. He's been touched a couple of times in this races, as we see Sam Osborne, number 73, just going about his business quietly, keeping well out of the way of all this, what's going on in front of him. So Towers has even more breathing space now out front, number 77. Then Darren Ibbotson, number 50, in second. He too has opened up a couple of tenths on George Pycroft. And there is Brendan Mallender, number 6, there on the back. Oh no, and George Pycroft has either got a problem or he's outbraked himself there on the Triumph down into the Foggy S's. Anyway, he's lost out on a position. That moves Brendan Mallender up one. There's 86 a bit further back. That is John McNally on the GBMS racing machine, but Johnny Towers still in control of this one as he makes his way onto the start-finish straight. This is a good shot here of Goddard's as they make their way onto the start-finish straight. There is Darren Ibbotson now being chased down by Brendan Mallender. So the last lap flag is out. Johnny Towers looks like he's got this one in the bag comfortably. Johnny Towers, by the way, mathematically could still finish third in this championship despite missing large chunks of it. There's Pycroft, who's regrouped after going straight on, and well, let's see where he can finish. Maybe top 6, 7 still on for him. This is Towers that still leads. What about Ibbotson and Brendan Mallender behind? Mallender, of course, third in the championship, Ibbotson second, and so he could do with getting past Darren Ibbotson. This is Johnny Towers, though. Now going around McLean's and looking over his shoulder. There's no one there at the moment. You're pretty comfortable here, Johnny. Looking like this is going to be a neat and tidy win. If only you had rear view mirrors, you'd be able to see all the action that's been going on behind you. Now into the Foggy S's then for Towers. Coming into this weekend, Johnny Towers 5th in the championship, with Tustin losing out. He could well find himself in the top 4 here after this weekend. Now into the Melbourne Loop. And lap time wise, 36.9 in this race. That is a new lap record, by the way, and he's already waving to a few people over at the Melbourne Loop as well. A brilliant race then for Johnny Towers. It's been quite eventful behind him. He cruises around, oh, that was a bit of a worry, around Goddard's, onto the start finish straight. Checkered flag is out. Good win for Towers, 25 points for him, and Darren Ibbotson just holds on for second place there. That is crucial in the championship ahead of Brendan Mallender. Wow, well that was full of all sorts of drama there. Darren Ibbotson will be relieved, I'm sure, to see the checkered flag. And sadly for the likes of Nick Manger, no points on offer for him. He'll have a fight to fix between now and race 2. Morris finished 4th, Osborne in 5th. George Pycroft did in the end manage to finish in 6th place despite going on at the foggy S's. There's the top 3 then. Johnny Towers 1st, Ibbotson 2nd and Mallender 3rd. Winner of the first pre-national 600 race of the day, Johnny, you must be thinking to yourself, had I started the season, we might have been in for the fight for the championship here.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. It's been a really good day again today. Yesterday was mega. I always have boxes to tick, and if I can do them on Saturday, then Sunday's just a bonus. And yesterday managed to tick all the boxes, and today, good start. Bit of a moment on the first lap, came out of Redgate. I tried coming back to second gear and had a big moment out of there, but anyway, settled down. And it was a good race. I'm sort of mindful I don't want to affect the lads' championships who've committed to a whole year, so I might look at it after the end of today and just see how it lies.
Anyone to thank quickly?
It's all the lads, all my teammates. You know, Nick, Ali Grant. Honestly, he's brought me on so much. The way he develops the bike, pushes me all the time. And I'm realising I'm becoming a better rider, but I'm getting better bikes, and that's making it easier as well. So Ali Grant and the guys at Complog and my teammates Nick and all the lads.
GB Racing 600 Sportsman Elite coming up after this break. So now we're on to the elite class in the 600s, and what a championship this has been. One thing we know for sure, it's going to the final round. Matt Truelove here on pole position, number 59. He is 1 point behind Davey Todd overall. We have got Mr. Luxton here, and also Mr. Neve, Tom Neve, number 68, who picked up a brilliant race win yesterday, but realistically, you can look probably second, third, fourth row. Any one of those guys could find themselves on a podium here in this race. There you see their number 94 with the bright orange helmet, Lee Williams, who picked up that Formula 600 championship. Matt Truelove there with the white, black and red, the traditional old Yamaha colours as well. Ben Luxton, last year's RRB 450 champion in the Aprilias. Not a great start for him though as they head down towards turn 1. A brilliant start for Tom Neve, number 68 on the red and blue Kawasaki. Into turn 1 we go, and I think it's him that's got the whole shot. Milo Ward just going through there, number 41. Perhaps not where he'd like to be on the grid as they now go around Hollywood and down into the famous Crane of Curves. Up into third place is Davey Todd, who of course is going to be fighting for this championship with Matt Truelove and Lee Williams. They're second, third and fourth respectively, but it is Tom Neve that leads. Tom Neve more than capable of winning this race, and arguably could have been fighting for this championship, but just too many times this year he's found himself in the dirt and have failed to finish races, and he's given himself a bit too much to do. He's 8th overall in the championship, although that is not a reflection of how good he really is. There he is, their number 68, leading from 59, Matt Truelove. Third is Lee Williams, number 94, and then 74 with that orange front on the Kawasaki, number 74. Then Ben Luxton, number 19, Harry Truelove, younger brother of Matt, on the white and blue Yamaha R6, number 15 is through there as well, and backing it into Melbourne Loop goes Tom Neve. Look at these guys all flying down into the hairpin. This is the elite of the elite in terms of our 600 runners here, but we do have one or two riders from the pre-nationals that you saw just before the break that are eligible and can enter this if they so wish. And there, oh, that was a horrible sound, and down goes Tom Neve. The commentary curse strikes once more. Just as we were talking about Tom's talent, he has gone down at the exit of Goddard's, and that has just been the same old story for much of this season. There's his brother Tim Neve, number 14, just going through, twin brother I should just point out, and then number 11, Louis Dawson, another ex-Aprilia 450 rider who's come for a play here at Thundersport GB. Matt Truelove, Lee Williams, Davey Todd at the front. The three men that coming into this weekend were split by 7 points overall before we came here. For the overall Sportsman Elite 600 Championship. No matter what happens here today, it's going down to Cadwell Park, the final round in Lincolnshire next month. But in which order? Matt Truelove it is that leads then from Davey Todd. Matt Truelove, white Yamaha, green Kawasaki for Davey Todd, yellow Kawasaki for Lee Williams, and then you've got Ben Luxton and co just tucked in behind. Number 129 going through, Jeff Booth on the Slow Boy Racing Yamaha. But now going into the Foggy S's, Davey Todd to move on Matt Truelove. And Matt, how on earth have you stayed on there? A major moment there, and now he's alongside his brother. He almost tucked the front end. Davey Todd now leads from Lee Williams and Ben Luxton, and then it's Harry Truelove up to 4th. Matt Truelove, lucky to stay on the bike, is dropped down to 5th place now. Then it's Tim Neve a bit further back. Brilliant racing out front. Matt Truelove, hats off for staying on board. Here comes Davey Todd then, who, remember, at the start of this year was a rookie to road racing. It's his first full season, of course, Supermoto, much like the man just behind him who picked up the Formula 600 Championship, Lee Williams of Liverpool. There's Ben Luxton, number 19, out on the Connect Kawasaki, the rider from Stockport, who won the Aprilia 450 Championship last year. Further back we see Edgerly, and then number 95 Dean Mulcahy, who's out on the Phoenix Racing Wheel. That looks like a spare bike of Lee Williams. I have to do some digging and find out what the situation is there, whether that's just a bike he'll be running next year in Phoenix colours or whether he's switching. I don't really know, I can't tell you at the moment. But out front, here comes Lee Williams up the inside into Coppice, and that is a nice move to plant on Davey Todd. It's not easy to get done through Coppice. It's a blind entry to that corner. So many riders have dumped it into there over the years. Now into the Foggy S's though. Look how strong Davey Todd is, and late he is on the break through the Foggy S's. He leads again. Davey Todd out there on a stock bike, Lee Williams on a Formula 600 bike, so a little more available power, although they haven't done in truth too much to that bike, and Lee Williams for the most part has been fighting it out front with these guys all season long, hence why he's still in with a chance of winning. Going down into the Melbourne Loop there is number 35 and 77. 35 is Andrew Gilnich, and then number 77, Stuart Haslam, and yes, he is a relative of Leon. Stuart was been racing with us a number of times over the last few years. Nice move there from Lee Williams into Redgate corner, so he now leads again ahead of Davey Todd. Then Ben Luxton, look who's come back to play. After that moment a couple of laps ago, Matt Truelove has put in a series of fantastic laps of 34.6. In fact, the lap records, I'm not even going to look at them because all of these guys are under them at the moment. Lap records have been completely shattered, but Matt Truelove has done very well to catch back up to this group again. Matt and Ben Luxton have been racing over in the British Championship of late, and they've been doing very well. Likewise for Davey Todd, he's been trying himself out over there, although Davey openly admitted to me this weekend that he enjoys the fact that he gets a lot of track time here at Thundersport, and he's hoping that, despite the fact he said ultimately speaking British Championship has to be the place to go if you want to move on in your career, he really does not see himself completely disappearing from the Thundersport Championship because he loves racing here. And there he goes into the lead ahead of Lee Williams. And this is brilliant racing out front. Ben Luxton just sitting there in third. If you recall from last year in the 450s, Ben Luxton was very good at this. He just sat there, didn't get himself too involved, and then picked them off at the right moments. That was what he seems to be doing at this moment in time. Further back, that's Harry Truelove, and he's getting himself in a few dust-ups then. Dean Mulcahy. So good battles all the way through the field. I can tell you Arnie Shelton's making some progress as well, ex-GP rider, number 34, so keep your eyes peeled for him. Back at the front then, these four, all looking to get themselves on the podium. Davey Todd leads down into Craner Kurds ahead of Lee Williams. Further back through the field, that there is Chris Gray, number 9 from Deal on the CJ Gray Builders Yamaha, up ahead of number 3, which is James McBride. Chris Gray, of course, has moved up from the Formula 400 class. Now then, out front, Davey Todd still leads. Lee Williams in second, but not for much longer. That is a bit of a wobble from Lee, but Matt Truelove's already got past him into McLean. So Truelove now from 4th up to 2nd. Ben Luxton, maybe just a 10th off the pace at the moment from these top 3. There's Milo Ward, number 41. You're used to seeing Milo maybe a little further up than he is at the moment. Harry Truelove clearly running into some trouble. And then we've got Andrew Fisher, number 91, up behind him. Back to the front we go then. Davey Todd it is that leads. Revving down, you can see there Matt Truelove in second place on the Yamaha. trying to find their way back through. And I tell you what, you'd put some money on Matt at the moment, wouldn't you? Having come back from where he was. Then Lee Williams backing it in himself, looking third place on the yellow Kawasaki. Lovely stuff. Matt Trulove won slightly wide, but he manages to recover well. Ben Luxton here struggling to stay on the tails of this top three. Davey Todd it is then, Drew Goddard's that leads from Matt Trulove, who carries a lot of corner speed through there. Onto the start finish straight we go. Pitfall's out, as is the last lap flag. Down into Redgate corner, and the pair of them have just broken away a bit from Lee Williams, who's struggling to keep with them. Davey Todd and Matt Trulove, who, going into this race, were separated by a point in the championship, are going at it now on this final lap. Matt Trulove, by putting a move on Davey Todd and winning this race, would lead the series by 4 points. Davey Todd, by winning, would extend his advantage to 6. Either way, there's not a lot in it. That's if, of course, they both stay upright. And here comes Matt Trulove now around Schwantz curve. I was about to say Starkey's Bridge there, but it's not there anymore now. Into McLean. This is where he got a move done earlier. No, not right now. He has to just wait a little while longer, but he's in the slipstream here. Will he fancy a move up the inside into Coppice? Blind entry. Yes, he does. Up the inside there, but can Davey Todd get the cutback done onto the back straight? He's got to get the slipstream. Davey Todd's been really strong down into the Foggy S's, but I don't think he's close enough here. Matt Trulove takes the lead. Now, just a few corners left in this race. Through the Foggy S's, that's neat and tidy from Trulove. This is a good race from Matt Trulove, and he deserves to take the championship lead if he can hold this one. He takes a defensive line and makes Davey Todd go the long way round. Ooh, it's close, but Davey's going to now need to make a move up the inside into Goddard's to have any chance at all of winning this race here on the final lap. Around Goddard's we go. Nicely done from Matt Trulove, and that was a brilliant race from Matt. He goes across the line and just wins it from Davey Todd, and in third, Lee Williams manages to hold off Ben Luxton. Brilliant racing in the Sportsman Elite 600 class there. Then Matt Trulove wins from Davey Todd, Lee Williams third, Luxton in fourth. Dale Thomas finishes in fifth place, Arnie Shelton in sixth. There you see on the podium the Superstock top three, Matt Trulove, Davey Todd and Ben Luxton. And in the formulas we've got Lee Williams, Arnie Shelton and Nick Edgley.
Lee, first of all, it's the first time I've seen you since you've clinched your championship, so congratulations on the formulas. You can now concentrate and have a bit of fun on this Sportsman Elite. You're still in with a shout here?
Yeah, I was saying it was 6 or 7 points coming into the weekend, having a fourth yesterday and a third in that one. Matt and Dave have just got that few little points on me, but you know, there's 4 races left. We've just got to see what happens, haven't we?
Who'd you like to thank?
Everyone really. High five for the nutrition and energy throughout the year. Without Phil, High Tech Coatings, he wouldn't be here. Dad, sister, girlfriend, Oakley Cheshire Oaks, Shoei City, Ken Majestic Engineering, Lee Road, LR Designs, Rock Oil, Fight Like a Girl, everyone. And if anyone wants 2 good 600s, they are both for sale, so get in touch.
Winner of the Superstock 600s and the Sportsman Elite outright, Matt Trulove. Matt, earlier on the year, I said to you, will you be attending every round? You said, oh, we'll see where the championship is. Bearing in mind the final round is at Cadwell and you now lead by 4 points, I'm pretty sure that you might be attending that.
Yeah, well, I think I'll have to, won't I, really? I haven't really got much choice. I mean, it's been such a close battle all year, it'd be rude to just leave it at the last minute, really. And make it too easy for the other two anyway, as well.
Good racing out there though, all weekend so far. It's been touch and go, but you managed to get Davey there just on the line, 4 points in it, brilliant stuff.
Every round it's just close, you can't really decide on the last couple of laps who's going to win it. It's just unbelievable. Like when we obviously race at BSB, we feel competitive, and then you come back here and it's not easy. You know, people expect it to be a walk in the park, and it just never is. It's just so hard.
And who would you like to thank?
All my friends and family. Claudia, my girlfriend, who puts up with a lot of weekends away, so she didn't get to see me that much, but so I appreciate your support. Signs Express for doing all the bikes. Easy Grip, my dad. Yeah, that's about it really.
Join us again after the break. We will have race 1 for the Thundersport GP1.
If this was a night of boxing, this would be classed as the main event of the evening. The Thundersport GP1 class. We've had an enormous entry so far this weekend. On pole position, on the Aprilia, Joe Burns. Good to have Joe out here with us. Second on the grid, former champion John Ingram, number 56 on the Morello Services Kawasaki. And the man that leads the championship, third on the grid, Curtis Wright. On the second row, we've got Josh Day, who comes in for a visit, Michael Neves and Craig Neve, but the entire field's packed full of talent, including British Championship riders. Here we go then, 50 riders qualified to get into this race, and in this field 31 riders have been on Thundersport GB podiums at some point in their careers. 19 of them have won races at Thundersport GB, and we have 9 former Thundersport champions on the grid here. Brilliant racing. And this is your champion-elect, I suppose you could say, Curtis Wright, number 74. He could just do with one good day here and the championship is finally his, but boy oh boy has he got some people to play with here out front. That is Joe Burns that leads the way, number 53 on the in-competition Aprilia RSV4. Then John Ingram, of course, former champion on the Morello Services Kawasaki. That is a full-on super bike, by the way, but they are struggling a little bit getting that thing working, so where better to come and try it out than, of course, Thundersport GB, a place where he won his championship, but he'll have his work cut out here today. We've also got there Dave Brook, who's been improving all the way through the season. We have pre-national sports 1000 championship that is very much alive, so talent and battles all the way through the field. It's Joe Burns that leads the way, then number 53 from John Ingram. In third place then Curtis Wright. In fourth there, is that Dave Brook? I think it is. That is very good for Dave Brook. As further back there you see Harry Truelove. He is out there on his 600, by the way. Ooh, Curtis Rothwell there sitting up. James Folkard. Folkard is also out there on an Aprilia RSV4 in competition colours. Josh Day is trying to make some progress. Josh is easy to pick out. Number 2. Yellow and black crank racing machine, the Kawasaki. He was just up alongside Michael Neves there on the Prime Factors BMW, but it is the Aprilia of Joe Burns that leads from John Ingram, and then Curtis Wright in third place. In fourth, let's just try and get a glimpse as to who that is. Joe Burns, that's Josh Day who's gone through. That's Billy Mellor on the sky blue and white machine. I have to say, it's unusual to see Billy Mellor in a new set of leathers. I've seen him in the same ones. Oh my God, that is terrible on the right. What's going on there? That is a monster crash for someone on the start finish straight, and that is a rider up and walking away and is okay. But who is it? Is that Jack York? I think it might be Jack York who's gone down. Massive crash there. And it's nice to see the rider getting up and walking away. There's Josh Day from Swindon, making some progress, of course, regular British Championship runner. Just up ahead now with Curtis Wright, the number 74 there. And Curtis, of course, will be having one eye on the championship here. He'll want to fight these guys because they're at a level that he'd like to be at, but he will be thinking about that championship. I was just mentioning Billy Mellor. He had the same pair of white and orange leathers, I think, the last 5 or 6 years, so it's unusual to see him in a brand new spanking set of leathers and a nice new colour scheme. There's Michael Neves, number 33, going through, just up ahead of Craig Neve, who's there as well, and Dave Brook, as I mentioned. Adam Shelton, if you're wondering about Adam. Oh, there's a rider gone down, and that's Shane Pearson. Oh, and Shane Pearson, who leads the Super Stocks 1000 Championship, has gone down to the Melbourne Loop. Now that could play a big part. Adam Shelton, who got himself injured at Rockingham, was playing catch-up in that series, and now all of a sudden, if he can get himself a decent result here and pick up some points, that could close right up going into Cadwell Park. He's still injured, is Adam, but he's still racing. There is number 3, that's Adam Revel, last year's pre-national 600 champion, up against Steve Parsons, number 11. And there is Adam Shelton, the orange bike there, the Scruffs Racing Kawasaki just behind them. Those guys at the moment are in 7th, 8th and 9th places respectively. There is Dave Brook just up behind them. So after a good start, Dave Brook just struggling a bit now. There's Josh Day. Josh is in 3rd place. And then there's Curtis Wright, Billy Mellor, number 87, and 33, Michael Neves. Neves from Peterborough, of course, writes and reports for the MCN. There's Adam Shelton making up a place. He goes past Stephen Parsons and now chases down Adam Revel, but Parsons gets him back again. All of these points count for Adam Shelton. We could be looking back on these decisions to race as being genius ones at the end of the season. This is Joe Burns, though, number 53. A great story it is, and great to see Joe Burns out there as Shelton there now gets past Parsons and Adam Revel. Joe Burns from Newcastle, who was considering actually quitting racing due to things
Jones is not going quite so well in the British Championship, and he's thinking about hanging up the levers, but he's a talent. And then Ian Newton comes along with this Aprilia RSV4, and with the help of a few others as well, he's now got some research and development to do on the Aprilia, and he's racing back again in the British Championship. As for John Ingram here, Morello Services Kawasaki, well, he was racing in the super stock class as well, but they couldn't get the performance out of their superbike, so they've put the experienced Ram onto that to find out what's going on. Now, remarkably, the amount of money that has been injected into that bike is absolutely astonishing, and yet they're actually down on power compared to some of the GP1 bikes that are here this weekend. They can't quite put their finger on it, as we get a quick shot there of Nick Williamson, number 6. But anyway, John Ingram here to try and put a few things right. He's struggling at the moment to hang on to race leader Joe Burns. That was, by the way, number 67, Michael Morgan. He's about to get lapped by number 2, Josh Day. Then we wait, and there is Curtis Wright, who's being chased down now by Billy Mellor and Michael Neves. Now, the good news is for Curtis Wright, as it stands, if the checkered flag were to go out, he would be crowned GP1 champion. I'm not sure if he knows it yet, but he can just do with staying on board, and in truth, even if he drops down a place or two here, he would still be crowned champion, and that must surely be on his mind. Curtis, who has been excellent, he's so short on funds, it is completely privately run, this BMW of his. He gets some help with Pallet Brothers, and his dad has put a lot of money into him and tyres and stuff. And there he's been overtaken by Billy Mellor. But Curtis Wright came into this year as the reigning Sportsman Elite 600 champion. He's not even sure if he'll be able to afford to race next year, but at the moment he's just going through the motions trying to be crowned champion. He's been struggling with arm pump as well, which is an absolute nuisance to anyone that has raced before. There's Michael Neves also closing in, but there aren't too many laps left in this race, so Curtis might not have to wait too long. There's Billy Mellor then, number 87, new colour scheme for the Barnsley man on the Team Able Racing BMW. His teammate, by the way, Gary Woodward, fighting it out for pre-national 1000 supremacy. There are 3 or 4 riders that are going to fight for that championship that I think could go all the way to the final round. Matt Stevenson, number 164, is leading that. Quite easy to spot number 164. He's got a Yamaha R1 and he's got what looks like a couple of big eyes on the front of the machine. You'll get a shot of him at some point today, I'm sure. There's Billy Mellor then up ahead of Curtis Wright, number 74, and now Michael Neves hunts him down as well. Every so often, Michael Neves, when he switches it on and when the day is right, he can be right up there, as he proved at Rockingham with that brilliant decision to go with the wet tyres on a dry circuit, and then it started tipping down and he went on to win. We're on board with Curtis Wright then, heading down into the foggy S's, and you can just see that he's not willing to push at the moment as Michael Neves goes through. Curtis Wright is thinking about one thing and one thing only, and that is the championship for 2015, which at the moment is going his way. They just collectively put a lap on number 67 there, Michael Morgan. They go around the Melbourne Loop and then exit. This is the man that leads though in competition racing. Joe Burns looks comfortable at the moment. Last lap flag is out. By the way, a 32.3 for Joe Burns absolutely demolishes any lap record that we had here. In fact, the top 4-5 are all underneath the lap record. This is some class here at Thundersport GB at Donington Park. Now we go across the line. There is Billy Mellor, number 87, and Michael Neves, and then Curtis Wright, already a champion of course, and now looking to take another championship. And just behind these guys we've got Steve Parsons, Dave Brooke, Adam Shelton all fighting it out as well. That will be critical points wise. Here's that beautiful RSV4 then. Hear it roaring out of McLean's and up into Coppice Corner. A bit of traffic here for him to find his way through. There's the BMWs of Billy Mellor and Michael Neves, and then another one for Curtis Wright. He's not giving up on this place here, is he, just yet? Now you can see how blind it is, the entry into Coppice Corner. So around we go, onto the back straight then. Curtis Wright, who of course was in this epic battle last year with Adam Shelton for the 600 championship. Adam Shelton, who incidentally has just taken a job with the Ron Haslam Race School. Ron has been helping and giving some tips and advice to Adam over the last year, and now Adam has taken a job here, but the checkered flag goes out in this race and the job is done for Joe Burns. Excellent performance there from the Geordie rider. He looks back to see that John Ingram, former champion, takes second, and here comes Curtis Wright, late on the brakes to just slide up underneath Michael Neves. Nicely done there. He's caught Michael napping a bit. Across the line he goes, and Curtis Wright with that is crowned Thundersport GP1 champion. Congratulations then to Curtis Wright. That 5th is good enough. Joe Burns the winner, of course, ahead of John Ingram, Josh Day 3rd, Billy Mellor 4th. Curtis Wright then pinches 5th place right at the last, ahead of Michael Neves. There's the top 3 overall: Joe Burns, John Ingram and Josh Day. In the Superstocks, Joe Burns, Josh Day and Billy Mellor. And then the pre-national thousands, it's Matt Stevenson with the win ahead of Gary Woodward and Jonathan Panter.
Winner of the pre-nationals there, Matt Stevenson. The GP1 championship might have gone, but the pre-national one is very much alive. You have closed in a few points there yesterday and today.
Yeah, we'll see how well. Yesterday and today have gone fairly well, so we'll see how later on goes, and hopefully we'll see how we get for second in it. But I don't know, Woodward's going to take some catching up. He's got a good lead, but how can happen? You know, it's bike racing. How can happen? So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Anyone to thank at all?
Yeah, my dad and everyone else that's here giving us a hand. My brother, my mum. It's all been, every little helps. So yeah, it's been really good. And my mate came off a few months ago on the road on his bike, and he's not been so good. So get well soon, Benny lad, and yeah, hopefully be out racing with you a lot again. So yeah, cheers.
Joe, I know that the season's been all over the place for you. Obviously, British Superstock. You've now finally got this Aprilia. It seems to be working. You're testing. Things are getting better and better. It's wonderful that you can come and grace us with your presence here. And there's a few boys keeping you honest, though.
Yeah. John's keeping me hot on my heels, like. But this is an ideal weekend for us to test and try a lot of things we can't really try on BSB weekends with the time we're given. But no, I've tried a lot this weekend. The bike's getting much better. Like, the Aprilia's a great bike. Still feels like there's a lot more to come from it. There's a massive potential there, but yeah, team's working hard. We need to do a bit more for race 2, but yeah, we'll see. It's getting there slowly but surely.
Anyone to thank at all?
DR Moto, Diamond Race Products, Aprilia, EHA Group, and all the smaller sponsors that sponsor the team. Also Ian Newton for giving us the opportunity to have a go on the bike. Yeah, it's all coming together, and hopefully next year we can have a big run at the British Championship and try and really put a heavy mark down in the paddock.
Curtis, we've had Sportsman Elite champions that have gone on to become Superstock champions, but we've never had anybody that's won the Superstock 600 championship, the Sportsman Elite 600 championship, and the GP1 championship, and you've just done it. Sum up how you feel.
It's not sunk in yet. It's amazing. I didn't think I'd do it with that race anyway, with getting such an arm pump, but I'm really pleased. Especially at the start of the season when we just bought this track bike. Considering, we'd just come from 600, we thought it'd be a year at least to get used to the new bike, and yeah, from round one it went really well. We got a win and racing against Phil Crow, which I never imagined, and we just kind of progressed from there, and it's gone amazing. It's fantastic.
Now, I know that funds haven't come easily along the way over the last couple of seasons, but you do have a few people that I'm sure you'd like to thank.
Yes, definitely. My father, who's put so many tyres my way. I daren't add up how much I owe him back. And then also Pallet Brothers, who have stuck with me from the Triumph onto this season. Pirelli for giving me a slight discount on their tyres. I'd like to thank Ben at MCA Leicester, who have sorted me out with leathers and helmets, but also my girlfriend actually paid for the leathers, so thanks to her as well. There's Simon at the Rising Sun in Shackleton. And I'm sure there's many others, or some others, but yeah, thanks to everyone.
Halfway point of the show then, 3 races gone, 3 to go. Race 2 for the pre-national 600s after the break. Welcome back to the Donington Park GP circuit. A glorious day here, and time for race 2 for the pre-national Sport 600s, brought to you by A&R Racing in association with Continental. This is Darren Ibbotson, then number 50. A decent result here, and he can eat into that lead of Harry Truelove. Nice to see that Michael Tustin's made it back out. Of course, he went straight on earlier, managed to rejoin, and he will be looking for a better result than he got earlier on. Nick Manger, by the way, Number 70, the rider that looked like he was skydiving on the grass earlier, has not made it out. And of course there's a gap on pole position here. We're not really sure why. Johnny Towers is missing. So the lights go out and Johnny Towers is not on the grid at all. I wonder if he's run into some trouble with his 600. That could be the only explanation. Into turn 1 we go in. Is that Charlie Morris with the whole shot then? Up ahead of Darren Ibbotson as they all try and find a way through. There is the sky blue bike of Ewan Meston, number 28. So Johnny Towers, there's a rider going wide. That's not the fastest route around Redgate. Charlie Morris it is that leads from Darren Ibbotson, Brendan Mallender, Michael Tustin, Sam Osborne and George Pycroft. The better start this time for 888 as well. That is Joe Lawrence from Bolton on the JDL Racing Kawasaki. So they've all made it around the first few corners nice and neatly. 157 it is Charlie Morris from Potters Bar on the MSG Racing Suzuki that has the lead ahead of Darren Ibbotson, who is looking to try and close that gap down to Harry Truelove overall. I've just checked my maths and that's 61 points that Harry Truelove leads at the moment. So Darren Ibbotson at the moment, let's see where he is at the end of the back straight and into the foggy S as he closes the door on Morris, who is staying in second place. Brendan Mallender's up to third. George Pycroft there, number 67 on the Pallet Brothers Triumph, is in fourth place. And here comes Mallender aggressively down into the Melbourne loop and somehow manages to get the bike to stop. They all come flying down here. I always cringe when I see riders taking such tight lines down into the Melbourne loop, but again, it works there for Alistair Wright, number 46. Darren Ibbotson leads him. If he wins this race, the gap at the front will be down to 36 points, with of course 4 races left in the season over at Cadwell Park. Now that means that he could finish 7th in all 4 races, and he would of course be crowned champion. That sounds, in theory, like it should be pretty easy for a man like Darren Ibbotson, but this is bike racing, and you just never know, do you? There'll be a few nerves because there's still a job to be done. He should get it done with ease because he's a rider that more often than not when he finishes races he's on the podium. You just never know, do you? You just never know. But either way, he's got this first hurdle to tackle, and that's winning this race. He's pulling away already from Brendan Mallender. There's Charlie Morris, who's looking aggressive in third there on the MSG Racing Suzuki, the all-black machine with the all-black leathers. Then George Pycroft, white and yellow leathers and yellow bike, number 67, Pallet Brothers Triumph. Here further back is 128 and 126. That is John Hunt, Royal Marine rider, and Dean Young on the two-wheeled warehouse Yamaha. There is then Brendan Mallender. Brendan goes through, of course. Brendan changed from Honda to Yamaha midway through the season. Number 6. He's still getting used to things out there at the moment. At least I think that's a Yamaha. It is a Yamaha R6. It's listed down in the programme still as a Honda, but that is definitely a Yamaha that Brendan Mallender is out there on. Around the Melbourne Loop we go. There you see Pycroft trying to get into the slipstream. There's Michael Tustin, always easy to pick out Tustin on a purple and white bike. He's got in the slipstream of the all-white levers there of the MSG Racing rider Sam Osborne, but it's Ibbotson that leads from Mallender. Then Morris in third, up ahead of George Pycroft. Quite a tall figure is Charlie Morris compared to George Pycroft. I'm not saying George is short by any means, but you can see that Charlie Morris towers above his Suzuki GSXR 600, and those GSXRs aren't exactly small bikes when it comes to the 600s. They tend to be the more chunky bikes, those Suzukis, as we now see Darren Ibbotson continuing to stretch out his advantage. You'll be pleased he's not involved in this battle. That's a good move there. The door was left slightly open by Brendan Mallender. George Pycroft takes advantage. Charlie Morris has a look over his shoulder as he regroups in 4th place ahead of Tustin and Sam Osborne. Now onto the back straight. Let's work out how big that lead is. I reckon that's just over 2 seconds, that lead at the moment, for Darren Ibbotson ahead of George Pycroft now, and then Brendan Mallender. Mallender, of course, will be desperate to get himself up there. That was quick through by Michael Tustin, going underneath and just sliding through Charlie Morris. There is Ibbotson then, the lead, maybe just under 2 seconds, that gap, ahead of Pycroft and Brendan Mallender. Mallender mathematically could still win this championship also, but he would need a dramatic turn of the results to go really in his favour when we get to Cadwell Park. There's 81, and there's a rider on the deck. And who's that? That's Scanlon. Yes, it is, number 131. That's Greg Scanlon from Caversham, who's gone down at the Melbourne Loop and just goes to make sure that he can pick his bike up, switch it off, and he's up and he's okay. This is Michael Tustin then, trying to find a way past Brendan Mallender on the Yamaha, getting into his slipstream. The top 6 or 7 all quite close. Further back behind this group is James May, of course a winner over at Rockingham, and around the outside here goes Michael Tustin. He'll have the inside line for the old hairpin, neatly done by the Triumph man, who goes back past Brendan Mallender. Good dice this for the final podium places in the top 3, but none of them can get close to Darren Ibbotson. A 1:37.5, well, it's actually no quicker than the guys behind him, but it's just he built that lead up early on in the race. Johnny Towns, of course, broke the lap record earlier on, so they're not on lap record pace. Here we go. This is the battle for second place then. Darren Ibbotson here, number 50 on the Phoenix Race Team Kawasaki, really is in a class of his own at the moment. Into the Foggy S's. Remember, if he wins this race, the gap between him and Harry Truelove comes down to 36 points with 4 races remaining. He's got a big crowd of people here with him supporting him as well. There's George Pycroft in second place. This would be an excellent result for George Pycroft. I think he's been on the podium this year, but I don't think he's been as far up as second so far this season. Further back, there's Ewan Meston. There is Lee Howarth. Oh, someone's gone down there into the Melbourne Loop. Is that Stevie Elliott? It is. Stevie Elliott gone down in the Melbourne Loop. His visor's sitting in the middle of the circuit as well. Oh, and there's another one. Another one's gone down. That's number 26 holding his head. I hope he's okay. That's Andy Cooley. Another rider almost running into the pair of them. Marshall's quick to the scene. Pycroft is there in second place, by the way. Darren Ibbotson still leading out front. This is the battle for second, third and fourth. Pycroft, Tustin and then Brendan Mallender. Behind them, number 157 Morris and then 73 Osborne. Here comes Michael Tustin around the outside once more. He'll have the inside line into the old hairpin, but not for now. The 2 Triumph boys battling for second and third. George, you don't want to look over your shoulder, mate. He is there. This is your ace leader, Darren Ibbotson, going into McLean's corner with Pycroft now defending his line ahead of Tustin. They'll now make their way up to Coppice corner, and it will be imperative for George Pycroft to now focus on getting every line absolutely perfect to prevent Tustin from coming through. We saw how quick Tustin was down into the Foggy S's just a couple of laps ago. There's Ibbotson then. He's home and dry by the looks of things now then. Pycroft taking the defensive line again, is he? No, he's just concentrating on getting his braking zone absolutely right. Done. Perfect. Nicely done then from George Pycroft and Michael Tustin. That looks like it might be your area. There we see Marshall's running away from the scene, and there's a right. That's Darren Ibbotson running really wide down into the Melbourne Loop as the rest of the group come through. And that didn't sound very pretty, and it's not. There's a rider gone down. That's Ash Stone who's gone down into the Melbourne Loop, the same place as we saw riders going down earlier on. So Ash Stone is down and out of the race, and there's another. I just wonder whether we've got some oil down here at the Melbourne Loop. That's Lee Howard. Well, it's unusual to see that many riders going down. Yes, we've got red flags, and I just wonder whether that might be due to that down over at the Melbourne Loop. Either way, that's a result. Darren Ibbotson takes the 25 points ahead of George Pycroft. Then Michael Tustin, fourth for Brendan Mallender. Charlie Morris finishes in fifth, and Sam Osborne is in sixth place. There's the top 3 then. Darren Ibbotson, George Pycroft and Michael Tustin. Now let's look at the points then. Harry Truelove is still on top. The gap is now down to 36 points over Darren Ibbotson. Then Brendan Mallender third. Johnny Towers up to fourth. Tustin fifth and Manger in sixth.
Winner of race 2, Darren Ibbotson. Darren, it's one of those tricky situations where, in a way, you want to relax because the championship probably can come to you, but then you've got Brendan still breathing down your neck. Yeah. You picked up the points, 36 away now from Harry Truelove. How do you feel?
Well, couldn't have gone much better, really. I was coming just to rack them points up, and got in a few close tussles in race 1 today, and it was a bit close for comfort to me. But yeah, it come out on good side, I suppose. And no DNFs.
Who would you like to thank, Darren?
Well, I'd like to thank Phoenix Racing, Dave Ogden, who runs the team. He's stuck with me thick and thin part of the way through the season. I'd like to thank Ashley and Mick Corrigan at Swinton Performance for helping me, and John Zamito, Mick Marshall as well, for just helping me through thick and thin. Kilner's Tyres helped me part way through the season. Ideal Travel, Complog Tyres, Motor Direct, Miller's Oils. There's just a big base, mate, what makes it all happen, Long days, early mornings, late nights, but this is what it's for. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Coming up after the break, race 2 for the GB Racing 600 Sportsman Elite. Welcome back to Donington Park for race 2, the 600 Sportsman Elite, a championship, as I mentioned earlier, that is going all the way down to the last round. As you see, fresh rubber there for number 59, Matt Trudolph, pole position for him. There is Ben Luxton, number 19, second on the grid. And then Tom Neve looking to make up for what happened earlier on at Goddard. Second row features Lee Williams and a few others as well. Davey Todd, don't forget about him, as we get prepared to start this race here at Donington Park. The second race for these guys, and away they go. Full grid of 600s charging down towards Redgate Corner, and once again Tom Neve it is that gets the whole shot from Matt Trulove, and then Davey Todd from the second row. There's Adam Clark just going through with Jordan Rushby, a couple of riders that have been so close to getting themselves up at the sharp end the last few rounds. Of course, Jordan Rushby still recovering from that accident over at Snetterton, that monster crash on the start-finish straight a few months back. Adam Clark has been gradually getting himself closer and closer to the top 5 or 6 of this class, the former Thundersport 500 champion. Now it's Tom Neve that leads from Matt Trulove, his brother Harry just a few places further back. There's Nick Edgerly, I see Chris Gray in there as well. Number 71 is Grant McIntosh from Wakefield. Lots of talented riders all the way through this field, and it's Tom Neve from Lincolnshire that leads it from fellow Lincolnshire man Matt Trulove. Then Davey Todd, 4th place for Ben Luxton, 5th for Liverpool's Lee Williams. Then, just behind Lee Williams is Dale Thomas, and Lee Williams has gone straight over the gravel into the foggy S's and has lost a bit of time there and has allowed Dale Thomas to go through on him. Behind Dale Thomas there is 15 Harry Trulove, then Tim Neve, then that looked like number 91, I think, going through, but I'll get confirmation for you with that in a moment. Or was it Louis Dawson? It might have been Louis Dawson and Milo Ward as well. Back to the front we go. Matt Trulove it is that has got to the front of this pack. No, sorry, that was the battle for second. Don't worry about that. It's still Tom Neve that leads it. But here comes Matt Trulove up the inside into Redgate Corner. Davey Todd is in 3rd place. Looks like, doesn't it, that it could be Matt Trulove and Davey Todd that fight this one out to the end. And Lee Williams, with that mistake, could just lose a few valuable points to these two as we head into Cadwell Park, which is, of course, in Lincolnshire. So will that favour Matt Trulove? We'll just have to find out. Davey Todd certainly had a very good season, considering he started the year off with an orange vest. This is Matt Trulove then up ahead of Tom Neve. These two guys were fighting it out in the Mini Twins Championship not so long ago. There they are, 1st and 2nd on 600. There's number 80 further back, that's Jarvis Adams. Number 96 is Callum O'Shea, a regular with his paddock. He travels over from the Isle of Man for every single Thundersport event and has done for a number of years now. There goes Matt Trulove though, just closing the door on Tom Neve on that blue and red Kawasaki, backing it in there, Tom Neve, and he's struggling to get it stopped. They go over the sawdust and the cement dust down at the hairpin there, which has been left from that previous race. Tom Neve did well to stay upright. This is the battle then. Trulove leads from Davey Todd, who capitalised from Tom Neve, just making a bit of a hash of the hairpin. Ben Luxton still in 4th place. Then a bit of a gap back to Harry Trulove. That's Tim Neve, Louis Dawson and Lee Williams. So, another lap goes by here at the Donington Park GP circuit. The two men that are going to fight for this championship are 1st and 2nd. Matt Trulove leads Davey Todd by 4 points is all, with 5 races to go, including this one. So Davey Todd, if he was to win this race, would bring the gap down to a single point going into the final round of the season, whereas if Matt gets it, it'll be 9 points going into Cadwell. Either way, it doesn't make much difference really. It's all going down to Cadwell Park, and may the best man win. Matt Trulove, of course, who's been racing just about everywhere he can and every single race circuit this year. And Davey Todd, who's been racing as much as he can, but not quite as much as the Trulove brothers. Speaking of the Trulove brothers, there's Harry, number 15. looked a little bit miserable in Parc Ferme over the last couple of races. I don't know whether he's quite at the races here this weekend, but he is the younger brother of Matt by a good 5 or 6 years, which says to me that there is going to come a time in the not too distant future where Matt Truelove and Harry Truelove really are going elbow to elbow. Once the experience comes through from Harry, Matt's going to have a bit on his plate, I think, and even he knows that. There's Jordan Rushby from Beverley on the Rushby Racing Yamaha. The line is still going a bit wide. That was Dean Mulkey just behind him, number 95. But the lead still with 59, Matt Truelove. Then Davey Todd, number 74. Davey from Saltburn on the Kawasaki there. Changed racing numbers halfway through the year. I would give you the explanation as to why, but it's quite long-winded. So just remember from here on in that he'll be running the number 74, as we see there, Milo Ward and Adam Clark. There's Jordan Rushby, Dean Mulkey, and then number 62, Nick Edgley, on the Team Edge RST Racing Triumph, of course the same team of which Johnny Towers races out of. Here is Rushby once more, number 2. Neat helmet design that for Jordan Rushby, I like that a lot, stands out. Dean Mulkey up just behind him, that is definitely a new bike, and that is definitely the spare machine of Lee Williams, but it still says in the programme that Dean is racing for the Phoenix race team, so we'll stick with that. Congratulations to Dean, by the way, and Kirsty, they've just got engaged, so many congrats to the pair of you. Good luck for the future. This is Lee Williams then, having gone straight. Oh, now that's a. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's a bike in the middle of the circuit. That's one of the Neves. Which one is it? Is it Tim or Tom? One thing's for sure, if they were to take the helmet off, I wouldn't be able to tell you. We need the race number there, and another rider's gone down straight through there. That's nasty, nasty stuff. Number 32, Sam Edwards, has gone down, and he's absolutely livid. There was a bike in the middle of the circuit which he hit, so I can understand why he's angry, but that could have been a lot worse than it looked. It's Tim Neve that's gone down, because you can see Tom Neve in the background there in 3rd place. These two still fighting it out front then. Now the marshals will be working very, very hard to get that cleared up. There was quite a bit of debris over onto the circuit, a bit of gravel, and they've got to get the bike cleaned up and off the circuit as well by the time these guys head back round there. There's Ben Luxton once more, number 43 is Richard Wardle on the RW Racing Yamaha. Richard at the moment in 12th place. He's having a bit of a lonely race, but he's on for some points. Now then, here comes Matt Truelove and Davey Todd around McLean's and then up to the blind Coppice corner. Davey Todd got to find a way past Matt Truelove, and then he's got to get it to stick into Goddard's. There's Dean Mulkey and Jordan Rushby. They're fighting for 13th and 14th place. At the moment, Nick Edgley has got the final point in 15th. There's Matt Truelove then, into the Foggy S's. And I tell you what, hats off to the boys and girls in orange over at the Foggy S's, because they didn't look like there was one piece of gravel on the circuit there. They got that cleaned up brilliantly. And the lead has come through, and they can continue to fight on in this GB Racing 600 Sportsman Elite race with Tom Neve still there in 3rd place. He's not been quite able to catch up with these guys who are lapping in the mid-134s. The last lap flag is out then, and they head towards Redgate Corner. He's not close enough to do it at the moment. So where will Davey Todd pounce? Around and into Hollywood and finally into the Craner curves. Davey Todd not close enough to pull on a move here. He's going to have to get some speed into the left-hander here to get a good line into the old hairpin. Again, not close enough. Now, excellent drive. He's got to get here out of the old hairpin and around Schwantz curve. But Matt Truelove is not messing around, and he's got his lines perfectly. Here's Lee Williams fighting with Arnie Shelton. These guys are in 6th and 7th place. So Lee Williams really hurting his championship chances a bit here with this result. Matt Truelove still leads this one. We're halfway round the lap. Davey Todd again not close enough. Now he is running out of opportunities, Davey Todd, as we see there. That looked like Ben Luxton fighting it out with Louis Dawson. Louis Dawson at the moment got the advantage, and again Davey Todd not close enough. Matt Truelove has been perfect through every corner so far, and he's not even giving Davey Todd an opportunity. And Davey Todd there, did he run slightly wide or not? Matt Truelove looked over his shoulder and now defends the line. Oh, he's given Davey a bit of a sniff here. He might have a chance going into Goddard's, and he's not that clean out of the final turn either. And Matt Truelove looks over and he takes the tight line, and Davey Todd's going to have to go the long way round. Matt Truelove has done well here to defend. There's no room though. They go across the start-finish straight. This is close. Along we go. And it's Truelove by 32 thousandths of a second. And just to rub salt into the wounds, he punches his fist over towards Davey Todd as well. That is how close this championship is, and it's going down to the wire. Matt Truelove wins it by the finest of margins, ahead of Davey Todd and Tom Neve. In the Formula 600s, Lee Williams does win it ahead of Arnie Shelton, and in third place is Nick Edgerly. In the points then, as I mentioned before, 9 in it. Truelove leads from Davey Todd. Lee Williams could still win this trophy, but he needs a really good Cadwell Park. Harry Truelove is in 4th, Milo Ward 5th, Tom Neve in 6th. In the Formula 600s, it's already wrapped up. Lee Williams has that. 2nd place still up for grabs though. Jarvis Adams currently there ahead of Jamie Boyce, Reece Rothwell, Max Wadsworth and Arnie Shelton. And in the Super Stock 600s, this is close also. 19 points between Davey Todd and Matt Truelove, with Harry there in 3rd, then Milo Ward, Dean Mulcahy and Jordan Rushby in 6th place. We'll be back after the break for the final race of the show, the Thundersport GP1. Welcome back to the final part of Thundersport Elite. GP1's line up on the grid for the final time. And there is John Ingram, former champion, number 56. This is the race winner from earlier, Joe Burns, looking focused on the in-competition machine, just making sure everything's all sorted out. John Ingram here, still trying to work some magic on the Morello Services Kawasaki. And Curtis Wright races for the first time as the GP1 champion. Maybe he can relax a little, or not, as the case may be, in a class like this. Craig Neve there, number 4. He'll soon celebrate his birthday. Away we go then from the line. Not a great start from Ingram there, but it was very good from Curtis Wright. Josh Day also struggled a bit from the second row. Matt Truelove there, you can see out there on his 600, really mixing it up there on the Yamaha. Curtis Rothwell trying to find some sort of a gap through there. Gary Woodward as well, the pre-national Sport 1000 Championship runner at the front of that particular battle, but it's Joe Burns that has the advantage here on the Aprilia, up ahead of, is that Curtis Wright in 2nd place, I think. So a really good start from Curtis Wright. John Ingram struggled, didn't he, away from the line. Michael Neves, a really good start for him, number 33. He's in 3rd ahead of Dave Brook, who again gets off the line so quickly. A number of bikes flying through here. And when you can see that some of the bikes toward the rear end of this championship and in this race won races with Thundersport before, it really gives you an idea as to how good this field really is. On board now with the champion, Curtis Wright then. And look at the sun! You can barely see anything as we go down the back straight. We are getting towards the end of the day here. Now into the foggy S's, and Joe Burns has built himself up quite a handsome lead already. We tip left and right. And I need a pair of sunglasses here in the commentary box. This is difficult to watch as Curtis Wright exits the foggy S's. Look at Joe Burns sliding the Aprilia down into the Melbourne Loop. There's the Prime Factors BMW of Michael Neves in 3rd place, up ahead of another decent machine in Josh Day. That's the Kawasaki, the Crank Racing Kawasaki of Josh Day. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? The roaring Aprilia RSV4 out of the final turn here. Then we have Curtis Wright in 2nd, number 74, the new champion, and Michael Neves. Is he about to be overtaken there by Josh Day? Then Dave Brook, number 73, on the Brook suspension, Team Marconi Racing Kawasaki. Then John Ingram, who's making up for lost time after getting a poor start. He's just up ahead of Billy Miller. There is number 119, Andrew Stockdale, one of the pre-national Sport 1000s, and there's Callum O'Shea. You saw him out a minute ago. He's got a 600 and a 1000, and so he's racing in both. But Joe Burns it is that looks very comfortable indeed out front, and he's already into the low 133s. Curtis Wright coming under some pressure now from Josh Day, and this is expected really. Both Joe Burns and Josh Day race regularly at British Championship level, and we might just see the yellow bike underneath him here into Coppice, and we do. Now this is a great view as we head around Coppice Corner and onto the back straight. Now in theory, Curtis Wright should be able to get into the slipstream here of Josh Day, although he's not in the slipstream, and he will not make his way back past Josh as we go into the foggy S's. So Curtis might just sit there, follow him for a few laps and See if he can maybe learn something off Josh. Josh, who's recently moved to the Crank Racing team. Down into the Melbourne loop. There is 33 Michael Neves, John Ingram, Billy Mellor and Dave Brooke. So after that good start from Dave Brooke, I'd love to know what his secret is, Dave Brooke, to getting off the line so quickly, because he's very, very good at it, and John Ingram could do with a few tips, I think. So with those sorts of starts, John Ingram would be up there with Joe Burns, you've got to believe, but at the moment he's checking out a 1:33.1 for Joe Burns. Bearing in mind the old lap record was a 32 from John Ingram himself, so he's not beaten that one. He beat it in the race before. There's Billy Mellor again, number 87, up ahead there of 33, Michael Neves. Nevesy, who's not got a bad job. When he's got some spare time, he comes racing, and his work consists of flying around the world, road testing all the latest motorcycles. It could be worse, couldn't it? And he even got to race in a race of legends at Jerez not too long ago. Some of the old bikes were wheeled out and some legends were racing. I think the likes of Freddie Spencer, Randy Mamola, etc. all out there, and Michael Neves' name appeared on the list. So good on you, Michael. It's great if you can get it. And Michael Neves, it's worth always giving a follow to Michael on Twitter. He's always somewhere sunny, and there he is at the moment. He's a good racer as well, up ahead of Dave Brooke, number 73. Dave, who came up through the pre-national 600 ranks, along with Barry Teasdale, who of course last year was fighting for the Superstock 1000 Championship. This year he's trying his luck out at British Championship. This is Curtis Wright though. Curtis, who from day one has been with Thundersport GB, started off on a 125 GP bike, was racing the likes of Sam Hornsey and Fraser Rogers, then moved on to a Triumph 675 and gradually got quicker and quicker and quicker. Before you know it, last year he went on to win the Sportsman Elite 600 and Super Stock 600 Championship. This year, for the first time, jumped on board a BMW and bang, he's straight up there again, and he's mixing it with some pretty tasty riders. This is Joe Burns though. This Aprilia is looking pretty good, isn't it? It's a bit of a weapon. Nobody can keep up with Joe at the moment. Looking at the battle there for 5th place. There's James Folkard. Nice to see James out there again, another rider who has been on just about every bike you can think of, adapts very quickly to machines. This is Matt Stevenson and Jonathan Panther, followed by Chris Barnes. Now, these two guys at the front of this pack are fighting it out for the pre-national Sport Thousands. Matt Stevenson, as we spoke to earlier, there's a bit of debris there in the middle of the circuit, and they're going to have to try and do their best to avoid that. Matt Stevenson is giving himself a last-minute chance to get into Cadwell Park and try and win that pre-national 1000 championship. I've got a feeling, you know, that there may be 5 riders that could potentially win that championship when we get to Cadwell Park next month. On board again here then with Curtis Wright, the newly crowned champion, number 74. Of course, I mentioned in the interview, as we see there, John Ingram going past him, I mentioned in the interview that he's the first man to have won the Sportsman Elite and the GP1 Championship, but I'm now just suddenly thinking in the commentary box, Danny Murphy also won the Sportsman Elite 600, the Superstock 600, and then he won the Superstock 1000 class. Did he win the GP1 class as well? And that is John Ingram pulling into pit lane, so a problem with the Kawasaki rider. That allows Curtis Wright back through again. You could just see there, just running a bit wide into Goddard's. But for now, anyway, Curtis Wright remains in 3rd place. Joe Burns still leading. A bit of a drawn-out race, this one, compared to some of the others that you've witnessed so far today. Sun comes down then here at Donington Park, and number 33 there, still just about fending off this lot. Craig Neve is the man in this group that seems to be the fastest so far. And that is Craig Neve that James Folkard is chasing down. James hasn't spent too much time on that Aprilia RSV4, so I think given the chance, you'll see him fighting it out at the front end. There's 67 again, just getting lapped at the moment. That's Michael Morgan on the fast track Honda. And there is Josh Day, number 2, the Crank Racing machine, currently lapping in the mid 133, so not quite as quick as Joe Burns, but certainly deserving of 2nd place. There's Adam Shelton then, Scruffs Racing Kawasaki, up ahead of Harry Truelove. Adam still obviously in quite a amount of pain after that open leg fracture at Rockingham a couple of rounds ago. Just listening to that, a pretty roar out of the Foggy Essers, and now Dave Brooke and Craig Neve. This is the battle for 5th place, and that is Shane Pearson, who's out again. Now, Shane Pearson, who led the Superstock 1000 Championship coming into this weekend, he's losing valuable points here. The last lap flag comes out for Joe Burns, so just one more lap for him of this Donington Park GP circuit. Shane Pearson will be really disappointed. The Melted Sliders team, this is their home round, and well, we'll see the points just after this race, but that might just cost him a bit as we head into Cadwell Park, and it's Adam Shelton's home round. He's still injured, but he's got another few weeks after this to try and get himself a bit fitter, and Adam is, you know, when he gets back to full fitness, has got the chance of winning any race you put him out into. Here's Joe Burns then, halfway round the final lap of the race, number 53. A couple of rounds left for him in the British Championship as well, of course, Silverstone and then Brands Hatch. This is Michael Neves in 4th. This is 5th then, and Craig Neve has now made up another place. He goes up ahead of the Arconi Racing Kawasaki of Dave Brooke. So Craig Neve has done well there, the rider from Immingham on the Coolmac Flexing Hydraulic Kawasaki, and there is the Crank Racing Kawasaki of Swindon's Josh Day. Good surname, Josh, good surname. Going through the chicane, and he's about 8 seconds clear of Curtis Wright, the champion. But this is the man that is going to cross the line and take the checker flag for the second time today. Joe Burns it is then that takes the win once more, up ahead of Josh Day. It's 3rd place for Curtis Wright. Michael Neves finishes in 4th, Craig Neve 5th, and Dave Brooke finishes in 6th place. GP1 podium overall, it's Joe Burns, Josh Day and Curtis Wright, and in the Superstock 1000s it's Joe Burns, Josh Day and Craig Neve. Now in the pre-national 1000s, Matt Stevenson picked up another win, this time up ahead of Shea Burton and Andrew Stockdale. So let's take a look at the points then in all 3 classes heading into Cadwell. Curtis Wright it is that is the champion. He cannot be caught. Look at the battle for second. 2 points between Shane Pearson and Shelton. That will go to Cadwell Park. Michael Neves could still have a say on that as well. Superstock 1000s, likewise. 11 points between Shane Pearson and Adam Shelton. That's interesting. Stephen Parsons could actually win that as well and sneak through the back door. Brilliant stuff. Pre-National Sport 1000, as predicted, there are 4 riders there, I would say, that are in with a chance of winning this. Woodward, Stevenson, Panther and Michael Mace. That's it then from Donington Park. The sun sets on the penultimate round. We will see you at Cadwell Park in Lincolnshire next month for the finale.